My wife loves history, especially the Victorian styles of the 1800s. So I'm trying to do a little homework to impress her. Can you imagine what that life was like? Well, in Murfreesboro, there's a place that recreates that Victorian era. It's time to explore, so off we go. Welcome to Oaklands Mansion, one of the most famous homes in the city, as we explore Murfreesboro. Oaklands is one of the most famous buildings in the city. Originally built in the early 1800s, it's seen its share of greatness, sadness, and almost its destruction before a community joined together to save it. Let's start at the beginning. Oakland's origins have a connection with the cities. The land where Oaklands was built was originally owned by Colonel Hardy Murphy, the namesake of Murfreesboro. When he passed away, the land, which was 274 acres at the time, was inherited by his daughter, Sally Murphy Manny, and her husband, Dr. James Manny. They moved to Murfreesboro and built a two-room brick home cabin between 1818 and 1820.
The two-room house was built on the hall and parlor plan and featured dormer windows and a chimney at each end, with penciling on the brick mortar.
In the 1820s, there was a major addition to the home, adopting the Federal style to the building. Rooms that were part of that addition were Miss Sally's parlor, which was later used as the guest dining room, and a bedroom on the second floor. In the decade that followed, the Manny family grew, so Oaklands grew too. The latest addition was on the back of the house, with the family dining room and an additional upstairs bedroom.
Connected to the back addition via a breezeway was a kitchen. Unfortunately, during restoration, it could not be salvaged.
In 1857, Sally Murphy Manny passed away. With her passing, Dr. Manny decided to give Oaklands to his son, Major Lewis Manny, and his wife, Adeline. It was during this time where Oaklands grew even bigger and became the social center of Murfreesboro. Around 1860, the final big piece of the building was added. The front of Oaklands reflected the Italianate style popular in that time. That style was not only visible outside between the windows, archways, and the porch, it continued inside to include the ladies' parlor and the gentleman's library. Adeline Manny brought in many features that were not quite seen in this area, like these pocket doors between the front and back parlors. Even the plaster walls were uncommon in homes in Murfreesboro. Not long after the final addition was completed, the Civil War began, and Murfreesboro found itself in the heart of one of its many battles. Oaklands would find itself a part of it as well, with both Union and Confederate troops encamped on the lawn. Like much of the South, Oaklands was not spared from the ravages of the Civil War, and major changes were coming.
In 1872, Dr. Maney filed a claim against the federal government in the amount of $27,012 for property damage and losses incurred at Oaklands during the war as the result of the activities of both armies. The claim was ultimately rejected.
In 1882, Lewis Manny passed away, and Adeline was forced to sell Oaklands a couple of years later to cover her husband's debts. In the decades that followed, the home would exchange hands from the Darrow to the Roberts family among the most notable. By the mid-1950s, Oaklands was left abandoned and heavily vandalized. There was even a plan in place to tear down the mansion. That's when the community stepped in, recognizing the importance of this building to Murfreesboro's rich history and the potential Oakland's impact could be. A number of women in the community joined together to form the Oaklands Association. They petitioned the city to donate the land and the building to them. Their plan was to restore the mansion to its former glory and to serve as a tourist attraction. Today, thousands of visitors come annually to see Oaklands. Okay, we've talked a lot about the history, but how about a tour? For starters, about 1/3 of what you'll see here was once owned by the Manny family. For example, this bookcase located in the library was owned by the Mannys. The spindle bed in the West Guest Room was also a Manny original piece. Do you know how we were talking about the Victorian era? Well, the Victorian style infuses elements of nature into its decor, and that's on display here at Oaklands. A lot of the fruit and floral designs, such as the grape finial on the gasolier or the floral patterns on the dinnerware, can be seen throughout the home. As you head upstairs, there are also a number of bedrooms you will see, including one that ties back into the Civil War. Confederate President Jefferson Davis was once a guest of the Mannies, so Oaklands has named this room after him. The other bedrooms on display offer glimpses into styles and furnishings of the past. Several of the children's rooms are part of the tour as well, with toys from that time period on display. Sorry, no video games here.
Oakland's collection includes not only items seen on tour, but also photos, documents, textiles, and clothing in an on-site archive.
To experience Oaklands is to experience both the inside and the outside. The grounds are absolutely beautiful. Along the walking trail, you'll enjoy a native tree arboretum, which includes an example of every tree in Tennessee. To walk down further, you'll find a trail that leads to a natural spring. One of the goals of the staff at Oaklands is to reach out to the community by offering numerous programs and events. Oaklands presents Days of Washing, Turning, and Learning and Autumn in the Oaks, and it provides school children the opportunities to experience 1800s customs. One of their largest community events is the nationally award-winning Wedding Dresses Through the Decades exhibit, which showcases a number of dresses on loan from ladies in our community. So if you have the chance, stop by Oaklands Mansion located on North Manny Avenue and you can take a tour of the mansion, or visit the grounds, or you can check out one of the many events that they have here. For more information, you can visit their website and find out even more facts about Oaklands. You can also call them at 615-893-0022.